It's Sunday, and I know some of us might have the Sunday scaries. So I have some food for thought that may help you leading into this week. I want to talk about something most people don't realize is shaping their behavior, their relationships, and their success, and that's resentment. Not anger, not disappointment, resentment. Resentment is like emotional residue from a moment you never fully processed. And when it sits there long enough, it starts to distort the way that you see everything. Resentment is like a mental time loop. You're not just remembering something, you're re-feeling it, you're reacting to it, you're reinterpreting today through the lens of yesterday. So even if the situation is over, the emotional pattern stays alive. That's why you can be 25, 30, 40, years old and still feel triggered by a tone, a behavior, a dynamic, because your body thinks it's happening all over again. Resentment is your nervous system stuck in a moment that already ended. Resentment tricks you into believing, if I just stay mad, I won't get hurt again. If I hold on to this, I'll stay in control. If I don't forgive, they won't win. If I stay guarded, no one can betray me. But the truth is, resentment doesn't protect you. It actually isolates you. It keeps you guarded, hypervigilant, exhausted, and consumed by scenarios that aren't even happening anymore. It keeps you prepared for battles that ended years ago. This is where resentment becomes dangerous. When resentment builds inside you, you start seeing the world through that filter. Someone cancels, you assume it's personal. Someone sets a boundary, you assume they don't like you. Someone asks a question, you assume they're judging you. Someone succeeds, you assume they're trying to compete with you. Resentment makes your brain search for confirmation that the past is still repeating. You start projecting old wounds onto brand new situations. This is how resentment quietly sabotages relationships, business decisions, and self-worth. This has definitely been me, but many adults are walking around with resentment toward a family member who wasn't who they needed, a sibling who maybe hurt them, a dynamic that felt unsafe, a caregiver who just wasn't emotionally available, a chaotic home that they had to survive, and a lack of protection, validation, and support. We say things like, I don't care anymore, it doesn't bother me, I'm over it. But resentment is not being over it. Resentment is proof that you're still carrying it. Healing is when you can look at the past and say, I didn't deserve that, but I don't need to keep reliving it. People will always confuse healing with excusing, but they're not the same thing. I can understand why someone did what they did and still recognize the impact that it had on me. I can acknowledge someone's humanity and still hold boundaries today. I can accept that they didn't have the tools or awareness back then, still choose a different path for myself. Perspective doesn't erase the pain. It actually dissolves the emotional tether that keeps you trapped in it. People just don't realize this, that resentment doesn't just stay inside you. It becomes part of the environment you raise your kids, your business, and your relationships in. You project it. You enforce rules based on it. You distrust based on it. You parent based on it. And you communicate based on it. Your body remembers the threat, and your behavior tries to prevent the original wound even when the present moment is safe. And this is how resentment quietly becomes generational. Resentment shows up in our profession all the time. People open a spa because they want to prove something to a former boss. People carry anger from past jobs into new ones. People assume clients are trying to take advantage of them. People don't trust coworkers or opportunities. People repeat burnout cycles because they're driven by fear, not passion. Resentment in business looks like holding grudges, assuming the worst, reading into everything, comparing, feeling attacked or judged, starting businesses for the wrong reasons, emotionally reacting instead of just strategically responding. It's not that they don't know business, it's that their nervous system is still living in an old wound. The past doesn't change. The memory doesn't change. The facts don't change. But the weight changes. The story changes. The attachment changes. The way it lives in your body changes. And when the meaning changes, your entire life changes. You stop repeating patterns. You stop assuming the worst. You stop projecting old wounds. You become more grounded. You communicate more clearly. You see people for who they are, not who they remind you of. And you stop creating a future based on the past. Healing resentment isn't about letting anyone off the hook. It's about letting yourself off the hook. Forgiveness is optional. Reconciliation is optional. And contact is optional. What's not optional, if you want a peaceful life, is realizing the emotional charge that's keeping you reactive, fearful, and stuck. Peace comes from processing the hurt and deciding that your past doesn't get to control your future. That's really the heart of it. Resentment is a survival strategy that turns into a literal prison. And the moment you choose curiosity over judgment, understanding over bitterness, and healing over proving something, your entire life opens up. You're not here to relive the same wound over and over forever. You're here to rewrite what comes next.